Here's what we did in class today, which is Tuesday, January 5th. We started out with Nearpod. We did the first 3 words, so you'll need to open up this Nearpod link and contribute sentences for the first 3. I have to approve them before they show up on the little collaborative board, so you might see other people's, but yours won't show up until I've approved it. So don't panic if it doesn't automatically post. After that, we worked on this poetic devices activity. So I'll give you a quick little tour of this. We're going to be talking about poetry a lot in the next 2 weeks, so I wanted you to be familiar with all of these different terms as we talk about them. So half of these are figurative language, and figurative language is language that you aren't supposed to take literally. So it's like when somebody says love is a battlefield, they don't literally mean that it's like army men fighting each other. It means that, it's a fight. So it's meant to be interpreted. So the first few of them are figurative language. And what you'll do on these ones are tell me what the intended meaning is, like how to interpret it. So we have puns, metaphors, similes. So like not forgiving is like drinking rat poison and then waiting for the rat to die. You'll explain why those two things are alike. And then you'll notice that on each of these, you also will write your own example. For this one, I have a little like hint. So the brutal wind bullied the tree into giving up its remaining leaves, and then explain the connotations of this personification. What that means is like, what sorts of emotions do you associate with the words brutal, bullied, giving up? So how is the description portraying the tree and the leaves? Or the wind, I guess, the wind and the leaves. You can delete this little hint and put your answer there. Hyperbole, we have one winter it was so cold that all the geese flew backwards and all the fish moved south and even the snow turned blue. So what does that mean? Analogy is very similar to a simile, so tell me how those two things are alike. And then for sound devices, we have onomatopoeia. You can't really explain onomatopoeia because the explanation is those letters sound like that noise. So here I just want you to list me 5 more examples. This shouldn't be there. This quote is not going to make any sense to you, but all you need to know is that it is about a snake. So the sibilant sermons of the snake as she discoursed upon the disposition of my sinner's soul seem ceaseless. All you need to know is that it's about a snake, and it says, why would the author use this repetitive S sound in this quote? So why does it make sense to use the S sound with snakes? Here you'll label the rhyme scheme, so you're looking at the last words and figuring out which ones match using letters. And for rhythm, I want you to underline the words that are accented in Jack and Jill. So you can see up here, I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam, I am. So if you're like tapping your foot to it, I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam, I am. You should be able to hear like a beat there. So Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. You should be able to hear like a beat. And I want you to underline the words that you would tap your foot, or in my case, like tap my hand on. And this last one kind of pulls it all together. So this is a poem that uses a lot of those terms, and you'll just click and drag these to wherever you think it best fits. So some of them, like I know that there's more than one onomatopoeia. You just have to label one of the lines, and that's fine. If you want to, if you're like very particular and you want to copy paste and make another onomatopoeia bubble, you can. You don't have to do that though. So that is due tomorrow at midnight. So you have 2 days to work on this project because it is kind of big. And after that, you have homework for tonight. So this is due at the beginning of class tomorrow. We're going to talk about the American Dream a lot over the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And I'd like you to start thinking about what that terminology means. So there are, I think it's 7 questions in here, and I want you to try to answer all of them. I have up here a little definition of what the American dream is. So it says the American dream is the belief that anyone, regardless of where they were born or what class they were born into, can attain their own version of success in America, where moving up through social classes is possible for everyone. The American dream is achieved through sacrifice, risk taking, and hard work rather than by chance. So this is kind of the reason why people immigrate to the United States. So that idea that like anybody can make it. It doesn't matter what country you were born into, how poor you were when you got here. It's that idea. I have a note here that this is an ideal, which means that it's kind of like a perfect state. So whether or not this is actually possible or real or true for everyone is debatable, and that's why we're going to talk about it from a bunch of different angles. Because the American dream is easier for some people than others. So these questions ask you about the American dream. The question on the second page kind of gets some of those problems with achieving the American dream. I'd like you to try to answer all of them. You don't have to write incomplete sentences. I don't need you to write me like an essay for them. I just want you to try to think about each question and answer something for each of them. And that is due at the beginning of class tomorrow at 8 a.m. So you have all of today and up until tomorrow morning to work on that. Then we'll launch into reading some poetry tomorrow. So that'll be fun. If you have any questions, reach out. I'm happy to help you out. But I just need to know that you need it. And I think that's it. So I'll talk to you tomorrow.